Hello, my name is Kristan and I am the CEO and owner, whatever you might officially want to call me, of Supporting Balance. Many of the posts you see on this page are about my family, and on this I'll upload this to YouTube as well. And so I thought I'd give you a bit of some tips that I've learnt along the way of late, and something that's reminded me of something that can help everybody else. So you may have heard of mag water, you may not. It's magnesium bicarbonate, and it's a really bioavailable form of magnesium. So people tend to tolerate it okay, and you just can start with a little bit at a time and work your way up. I have a water bottle, which is funnily enough downstairs at the moment, but it's a 1 litre water bottle, and I now put about 1/4 of it as this concentrate that I'm about to talk to you about, and the mag water. And then I put some potassium in it and then top it up with filtered water. And that lasts me, at this time of year, maybe a couple of days. When it's hotter in summer, I'll go through it more. In winter, I don't use as much, but I drink other things and often have more soups and things that are higher in liquid anyway, so I just don't need as much. But I make this with, it's an old soft drink bottle, I make it with my soda stream, and I will put a link in the description later and or in the comments about showing you how I do it. So in the corner here we have a soda stream, and I gas my own filtered water, and it's cold, and then I put it into this bottle with some magnesium hydroxide, and hopefully my phone will reverse that, otherwise you'll just have to read backwards. So the magnesium hydroxide reacts with the bubbles from the carbonated water, and you get the magnesium bicarbonate, which is a concentrate. Now, I've noticed over the last few months that I've been getting more and more powder or white residue that is unreacted magnesium hydroxide. It's been bugging me, and I have checked with the supplier that there's been no changes there. I've done a few different things, and somewhere along the way I came across an Instagram video where a lady said, you've really got to make sure that you shake it. Now, I've always shaken it, so part of the process is you put the powder in with the cold carbonated water and you shake and shake and shake. I'll save you getting shaken on the video. But she made a point of doing it for longer. Now, I realised when I watched that I actually have been slacking off a little bit when it comes to the shaking. And so I've started to shake more. And last night when I made a particular bigger effort to actually shake it for a long time. It was probably on and off 10, 15 minutes, so not ages, but it's longer than 30 seconds to a minute maybe. Anyway, there's no residue, so what happens is you get this powdery residue that just sits at the bottom. It doesn't affect it, so it's not like the final product is a problem or anything. You just won't have as much of the magnesium in solution, and then you rinse out the bottle of the powder at the end, but it won't go back in later. Like it settles out and it won't react. This time you can see it's still actually a bit cloudy, and that's normal for the mag water process, but I noticed this morning when I shook it, it's still quite bubbly when you can see that it's still doing, so I think it's still reacting, and there's no residue at all. So that extra effort to shake for longer at the beginning, I think has really made a big difference. So this is the first time when I've really sat there and done that for an extended period of time. What else do you do on your 11 o'clock at night on a Thursday night, you ask, especially when you start your day training at 5 a.m? I really wanted to make the mag water. So if you can time it in with when you're doing something else. I was actually playing a game on my iPad to pass the time. So shaking in one hand and watching and reading in the other. Could read a book if it's not too disruptive to have one hand shaking and be able to read. But anyway, do something, enjoy, meditate, who knows? It's quite rhythmic to actually do. But you might, if you've been making mag water and would like to find a way to reduce the amount of residue, maybe it's just literally you need to shake it for longer at the beginning. I thought that maybe because the soda stream we've got is kind of old, maybe it wasn't as carbonated. Nope, seems to be no different. I got a commercially carbonated bottle of water, and it still had a residue. So it seems that I've just got to shake a bit longer. So that's my tip of the day. And I've had a few people over time ask me what's my setup, how do my family do their RCP routine. So that's a focus on whole food supplements to help build ceruloplasmin, which is a very important copper protein in the body. It's very important for iron movement in the body and reducing histamines in the body, a whole lot of other things, very important. But if you haven't heard about the RCP, please have a look at the rest of the supporting balance profile. And either way, we end up with a bit of a collection of things like whole food vitamin C, cod liver oil, liver, that sort of thing in capsule form or tablets. And so this is my setup, and you get my shadow in it. I'll just do it this way. That's much easier. So we do this out of habit every day. So my husband's actually now put a shelf up to make life easier. So we have our mineral drops here. This is potassium chloride, which is our source of potassium for our adrenal cocktails. There's salt there. That's the magnesium hydroxide that I grabbed before. That little old tomato paste jar is repurposed into potassium bicarbonate. That's what I put in my drinking water. And that's actually bee pollen nearly empty there. Can't remember. Oh, there's a stopwatch and digestive support there. So we've actually moved that so it's nice and handy. Whoever needs what can get it. We've got a cupboard just up here that you can see bottles in there. That's where a lot of the supplements are. I just grabbed out a couple before. And so what we do is either before we go to bed at night or first thing in the morning, my husband or I will set up our kids and our supplements in the little cups, and then we will put mineral drops and the salts for the adrenal cocktails in here, and everyone takes their tablets and their drinks their drinks at that time. And it keeps it simple so that they see that it's a visual reminder. It's easy for all of us can see what the others are doing. So it's like, okay, child one, you haven't had your, we call it drink up, got abbreviated years ago and it's stuck. So we've made the drink up and it just became, the name of it is drink up. So you haven't had your drink up, go and do that please. And they all are pretty good. I mean, in the earlier days it was a bit harder and a bit more reminding and that sort of thing, but for the most part they're pretty good. They know that they feel better with it, which has been a big thing. We've worked with our kids rather than demanding that they do this or that. It's more notice how you feel if you don't have it. My 16-year-old son actually now puts potassium and a little bit of salt in his, he takes a big 2-litre bottle to school most days for his water, and he's realised that our water tastes way better than school water, which I'd been working on for a long time. But he also doesn't get headaches and he feels much better in general if he has the electrolytes in there. So he self-regulates that, and for a long time it's just a little bit, and then he's like, oh, I think I need to put more in. So this is the sort of stuff that we're trying to teach the kids, of being self-aware, but also getting in a routine, because it's much more predictable when you tie it to something else that you do in your daily habit, rather than try and, so for us, they have to come in the kitchen to get their lunches ready for school or to have breakfast or, you know, all the things. Weekends tend to drop off a little bit for us, but we'd probably miss one set of tablets or mineral drinks on any given weekend, maybe. Or it may be that we just have tablets or we just have the mineral drink. Especially if my husband and I are active in the garden, we'll pretty typically do the drink part at least, even if we miss one lot of tablets. But we can go here or there and it doesn't matter, but we tend to notice if we leave it. Interestingly, if we're going to feel at all a bit rough or a bit run down, it'll often be on a Monday when we may have been a bit lazier with what we've done. Or we do a lot of work over the weekend, so our bodies are a bit tired by Monday. You know, pick one or the other or both. Anyway, I hope that these tips have been helpful for you. And if you have any questions around these areas, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.